In a really sick cardiac patient, if you only have a cholesterol of 50, you're in big trouble.
Because that aorta opens up, you're dead in seconds. You don't live long if that thing ruptures.
He said, Lindsay, this is about as bad as you see. When you look on the inside, you're morbidly obese.
Fat is not supposed to be in some places of the body. Fat is supposed to be stored in fat storage.
Have we been describing this as radiologists? No.
Most doctors will look at, oh, this number's high, here's a pill for you.
Essentially, he has a death sentence.
What did our ancestors 500,000 years ago eat?
We have limited food availability, and it would be unnatural to not go in a state of ketosis.
Now we have foods that are just rich with fructose, damages mitochondria.
Know what you're actually putting in your body. Learn to count your macronutrients.
When they explained to me where I had gone wrong, that's when I realized why I was so sick.
You can reverse prediabetes and type 2 diabetes by putting somebody on a ketogenic diet.
Every patient deserves the best shot possible. That incorporates the best diet possible, which we think is a ketogenic diet.
Food is my medicine, but the right kind of food.
Yeah. Clap that. Meat of the matter. They ask how much I weigh. I say, how do I feel? Energy up, that's the real deal. Clear head morning, solid sleep night. Strong body moving like it's built right. Not chasing skinny, not chasing thin. Chasing strong bones under the skin. Eat for health, that's the base. Everything else falls into place. Hey, hey. Health first. Build it strong. When the base is right, you can't go wrong. Health first. Feel that beat, don't body. On your feet, health first. Set the tone, weight loss comes on its own. Health first. Clap your hands, feel right. Make a stand. Eat for focus, eat for drive. Eat so your whole system stays alive. Blood work clean, mindset clear. That's the reason we're here. When you stop chasing numbers down and start building solid ground. Help the goal, wait aside, get it right, let it ride. Well, health first. Every day, yeah. Be right. Fuel it right. Watch it sway. Health first. Feel that beat, strong body. On your feet, health first. Set the tone, red love comes on its own. Clap your hands, feel right. Take a man. You don't need to shrink. You eat to move. You eat to live. You find your groove, yeah. Get it, get it, get it. Feel that beat, don't bite. On your feet, the first. Set the tone when love comes on its own. Clap your hands, feel right. Take a man.
Obesity, childhood obesity, GLP-1s, and is low carb dead? We're going to get into all of that. Welcome to the Meat of the Matter.
Sick and fucking tired of seeing all the carnivore shit all over this fucking.
I can't even
look at a carbohydrate.
Now that I think about it, we probably would.
You know, that it doesn't make sense.
I was tired of the guessing games, faking health, playing diet names, low fat light, vegan soul, but deep inside I didn't feel whole. Then came fire, then came fat, steak on the plate, I bounced right back. No more crashing, no more drag.
You're literally treating your diet like a fucking religion.
Looking forward to talking about this recent controversy. I've already been doing it for over 2 weeks now.
Your fiber intake is fucking zero.
There is a constant in the calculation.
It is the most toxic fucking diet I have ever seen. Ever. It's not healthy. It is far from fucking healthy. Okay? It is the least fucking healthiest thing you can ever do for yourself.
And we are live. We are Peterless today. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to Peter. He's all good. Everything's okay, but he's had some family things to deal with. So we are thinking of him, and we love you, buddy. And we can't wait to have you back. And you do your thing. And we're gonna continue on. We got today. We just want to thank Byron Funk for all the music. He's been busy. He's putting out albums now, and support him at Carnivore Beats. YT on YouTube and Carnivore Beats on TikTok. Thank you, Byron, for everything you do for us. We appreciate your music. Of course, the carnivore community worldwide, we are supporting them. We would encourage you to go and check them out on Instagram and YouTube. And the Village is a great chat room. We're all involved, but it's a great place to be if you're in the carnivore space or thinking about the carnivore way. Also, Mark, we had a busy week. We had Hunter-Gatherer Mindset, Jessica, and Angela, and we talked mold this Monday. We had a lot of different perspectives, a lot from the construction side of your house, which I'm dealing with at the moment. My living room looks like a Dexter kill room because they've got this stuff. They're replacing things. It's unbelievable. But mold affects us. We just did the last Monday. And of course, we had none other than Dr. Anna Rosa on, and we talked about the upcoming Keto is Key documentary and a lot of things about visceral fat. She was supposed to be coming on today, but we're going to have her on next Sunday. So if anybody has questions about a very, very prominent mind in this space, we're excited to have her. And also, Mark, you've been talking to the Keto is Key creators, to the directors, the producers.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, they're coming on very soon. So we have Kyle and Carolina coming on, and we also have Sean O'Mara coming on very soon also.
Awesome, man. So yeah, we're staying active, and that leads us into today because Mark sent, as we do, we talk. We sent a video about obesity, and I thought it was a good thing to talk about it because childhood obesity. I've put together some slides, some stats, and we're going to get into that today. And another side of this is, people are saying, not only people jumping ship from the carnivore thing, but actually people are starting to question low carb. They're saying, is low carb dead? And judging by this documentary and the very, very intelligent people in this space, I would argue that's a big no. And, like everything, there's context, but, people pushing carbohydrates, I don't understand it. It seems to be, in my mind, might even be planting and a setup for what we're going to deal with today with obesity, a big deal in the world. And childhood obesity specifically is going off the charts. And, lo and behold, they have the fix. We're going to get into that as well, the GLP-1 side of things. As you may know, Mark, I've been working on trying to get something in the works where there's support for the people who have, whether they've got into the GLP-1s, whatever reason you're on it and you've had to come off it and you don't understand what's going on, there's no support out there. So I'm working on that. It's in the pipelines, and we're going to have some good talks, some doctors, and just a community support for people that don't understand what the hell's going on with their bodies. Because if you don't understand it, it can be frightening. And, from all sides, do these injections have a place? Perhaps. But I think when you look at the business side of things, it gets really, really scary fast. So, Mark, you sent me this video and you wanted to talk about it. Now, maybe you can set it up. I think it's a guy in Ireland.
Yeah, so basically this guy was on a very popular podcast in this country. It's called The Two Johnnies. and they spoke everything pretty much about weight loss and GLP-1s. And the guy that he was speaking to, the two hosts, one of the hosts mentioned that he struggled with his weight all his life, and he eventually went on one of these GLP-1 injections until someone mentioned to him, "Jesus, you've lost an awful lot of weight." And he didn't want to mention that he's on these injections. And then the doctor said, "Okay, why do you need to feel guilty about this? Because this is pretty much what everybody's doing, and you shouldn't feel guilty about this because obesity is genetic, it's a disease." And that's when I started losing it. I was like, okay, I would love to have this conversation with you, buddy. I really would, because we can talk about genetics and we can talk about disease, but we have to start talking about what people are putting into their bodies. We have to. We cannot keep on ignoring this, because this is where we're going at the moment. Everybody's doing the calories in versus calories out. It's not working, lads. It's not working. You know what I mean? And no matter what diet you're on, whether it's plant-based, Mediterranean, everybody has to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Yeah. So this is what we're talking about. That low-calorie diet that you keep on going back to, no matter what diet it is, it's never going to work long-term. And if the calorie diets did work, like I've said many times, why is half the population not taking these injections? Like, why?
Well, I have some stats. I did use ChatGPT. I was like, well, let's, we got to use it for something. And I went through the World Health, and these statistics that we're going to pull up later are all from the World Health Organization mainframe. Comparative stuff. And what you just touched on, Mark, you're going to see the graphs. And I decided to do it from the year I was born in 75 up until now. And it's not good. And it's clearly one takeaway beforehand, a little foreshadowing, is it's not genetic. You'll see. So let's get into the video, and then we'll see where it goes here. Just give me a second to cue it up. Here we go. Well,
this week, I was a guest on the Two Johnnies podcast this week, discussing obesity medications, having a very genuine, hopefully balanced and practical discussion about what treatments are, what they're not, how they should be used, risks and benefits, and how we think about treating obesity.
That, like, I've tried everything to lose weight, but I have a real thing about trying a weight loss jab. Per se.
Why do you think that is?
I lost weight last year and I actually met a woman and she was like, "Are you on the pen?" I was like, no. And I felt like being like, she her thought I wanted people to know I went through the fucking pain losing. So like there's kind of a perception that it's the easy way out.
We don't think of any other area of health the same way. So you're not taking a shortcut or cheating, taking an inhaler. You shouldn't just have to tough it out with your breathing.
Yeah, I would be dead if not for my inhaler.
Yeah. Exactly. So
you quitter.
There is this attitude that it's somebody's fault. There is potentially this judgment, this idea that you're cheating, taking medication. And that's because people don't understand the complexity of weight. They don't understand it as a chronic medical issue. They're just looking at weight and body size.
12 hours. By that night, I'd be like, can't stop thinking about it.
There's studies looking at that psychologically. Yeah. As soon as you mention diet, kind of that craving kind of goes up. If you look at people who've lost weight with diet and exercise, 80 to 90% of people probably have regained the weight within 2 to 5 years.
Say with Johnny, like, we'd often be sitting down, he'd be like, "Yeah, but do you not feel bad after food?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I do." He's very regimental. Like, he's totally different. Is it my makeup, or am I weaker than him?
No, so you're both trying to play the same game, but you have a different deck of cards.
Yeah.
Genetics plays a huge role. Somewhere between 40 and 70% of your chances of having a bother with weight over the course of your life is genetically linked. About 80% of the genes are coding for what's happening in your subconscious brain. That's not where willpower, motivation are regulated. It's biology.
The pharmacies are
right.
Okay.
So I just want to jump on that point really quick. Okay.
Yeah.
So these people are saying it's genetic, right? Same with type 2 and fatty liver disease. Then why are the numbers off the charts at the moment? Like this is what I just don't understand. If it's genetic, then everybody would have the same issues.
Yeah.
But we don't. We have a massive obesity crisis at the moment. Massive. It's huge, and nobody has the answers. Nobody.
Well, this is I'm just going to leave this up there while I chime in here, because he was throwing around words like genetics and we're all different and we're all like, it's a deck of cards. And here's the thing, the problem I have with this. If anybody knows who Bruce Lipton is, Dr. Bruce Lipton, It's epigenetics. What influences your genes matters more. So if this is coming out where people are getting involved with the epigenetic side of things, including in the health and nutrition space, that sort of cancels out that whole genetic bullshit, because you may be genetically predispositioned to hold body fat more than than another person, but you're also able to influence those genes if you do the right things. Now, if you look at this graph from my birthday from 1975, this is a global obesity projection rates to 2026. We just de-evolved. We just got genetically either enhanced or depleted. What is going on? It's ridiculous. And you can just see from under, like, I don't know what that is, 2%. Now this is from the World Health Organization database. So whether you want to argue the statistics are bullshit or not, you just, even if this was 20% true, you see this, like, there's something going on. It is not genetic, because people don't just do that. You know what I mean? If you want to be on the evolutionary biology side, evolution or de-evolution, so we're all just getting genetically, like, what, our genes are just coming alive now. These obesity genes are waking up 2,000 years after, or 6,000, whatever it is, after the agrarian revolution, never mind where humans were starting to evolve. I mean, it's ridiculously frightening. And this does not explain genetics. You can't tell me that that's genetic. And that's globally.
And when we look at the obesity problem, this is what we'll hear. I cannot stop eating. I just cannot stop eating. So we need to switch this from focusing on calories to focusing on food addiction, because that's the problem right there. It's got nothing to do with the calories. It's because you're addicted to certain foods. Your eating pattern is out of control. This is why you're able to eat non-stop throughout the whole day. The key to stopping this, the key to stop doing this is to focus on that hormone. And that's what we need to focus on, because this is what drives me crazy about the fitness space. Everybody's going on about insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is a symptom. So obesity is a symptom of insulin resistance, but it's not the main cause. The main cause, we can go into the Randall cycle, we can talk about sugar addiction, we can talk about all different things, but that's what we need to focus on here, right here. Most weight issues is down to inflammation. Yeah. Because when you put that weight on, it's water weight. It's not body fat. You're putting on a lot of water weight. So when people do end up losing the weight and they step on the scales, when they go low carbohydrate, they lose like loads of water weight within the first couple of weeks. This is why I hear it all the time. Jesus, Mark, I'm after losing 20 pounds in the scales. Yes, it's water weight. Yeah. It's water weight that you shouldn't be carrying in the first place.
Well, also the dangerous thing that nobody talks about, which is starting to become, the Dr. Sean O'Mara and Dr. Anna Rosa, they're talking about the visceral fat factor, where that is the danger. That is, it doesn't matter about your ectopic fat, so to speak, but the visceral fat that you're gonna, when you eat a human diet, whatever what we can argue what that is, sure. I think a lot of carnivores in our chats and in our circles will know what their iteration of a human diet is, and it's pretty obvious because every single one of us that have been doing this for X amount of time has gotten certain things have happened. I was always the short fat kid, Mark. I was always the short fat kid. Why? At 50 years old, I'm just genetically blessed, and my genes just take they take a back seat, and I'm outwilling this. No, it can be explained. And when you're talking about this, the other side of this that people can't, you got to wrap your head around is it's moderation. Well, when we're not doctors, we're not scientists, we say this over and over again, but if you start to understand the game they're playing, all these manufactured things that they're deeming healthy, seed oils, high fructose corn syrup is not that bad for you, blah, blah, blah. The chemicals that are in food, these people sit in a boardroom or in a lab and study what makes you want more. Now, if you want to say creating food noise, I could almost bet my life that 100 years ago, food noise didn't exist because there was nothing to make it happen. You know what I mean? We had certain people that were genetically predispositioned to hold body fat, but there was not this like absolutely bombarded chemical soup that you're dealing with. And that's the other side of thing. You tell a kid to have one bag of Doritos because you need to, we don't want to eat these all the time. You don't want to eat these all, but the reason they're made and sold are to consume more. You don't think that the big food companies know that? They absolutely do. So when you see this stuff, it's manufactured. It's not genetic. It can't be.
And isn't it amazing when we talk about moderation? Any other addiction that's going on in the world at the moment, where it's alcohol, drugs, gambling, you would encourage this person to stop. You'd encourage them. But when it comes to food addiction, it's like, no, this is perfectly fine. Once it's in moderation, that key word there, moderation, it's all about balance. Life is all about balance. You'll be absolutely fine. But they have no idea. They have no idea what they're putting in their bodies because they've been told by the experts that all these ingredients that are at the back of these foods, you don't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about that. You just need to focus on what's the front. This is where we're going wrong.
And I'm on the, I kind of feel like I see this with myself. The second I have a carbohydrate, I'm different. It's different. I can control it now because I know myself, but the next day I feel different. I'm hungry earlier. These subtle cues happen. So if that's the case, how come, and all you have to do is look, we say follow the money. We say trust the science. Well, I'll tell you what, if you look into what the science is trying to do from the cholesterol bullshit, they were making cholesterol the boogeyman. The sugar lobbies were funding this. It's fact. So when people don't realize that sugar is a drug, or if you don't think it's a drug, for some people it is probably, well, I would argue worse than heroin. Yeah. This is the physiological shit that goes on in your brain is going to be different. But their goal is to get you to consume as much as humanly possible whilst telling you that it's you and you should moderate this.
But this is where the panic situation comes in, because when you take that food away from the body, the sugar, when you go on a diet, what happens? Your body goes into this panic state. You're stressing. You're like, oh my god, I can't do this for very, very long. This is where that addiction comes from. Like you're taking food out of the body. You're taking food out what you should be consuming. You're only doing this for a while, but this is why it never lasts long term. This is why when I always say to people, if you're telling me that carbohydrates are not addictive, go 5 days.
Do it now. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And I guarantee you will know what that panic situation feels like. You'll be like, holy shit, I can't do this anymore. Yeah, I can't do this anymore. That's why we need to move away from that. Yeah. We need to move away from the starvation diets and just give your body what it needs. The most important thing is you need to understand how hormones impact the body. So you need to understand the role of ghrelin, leptin, because when these hormones are high, that's when you're able to switch the hunger hormone off. Because insulin is the problem here. When you're getting these regular spikes throughout the whole day, when you have to eat, then you don't eat, and you have to eat, and then you don't have to eat. That's the reason why, because you're eating foods that's keeping your insulin levels elevated. And every couple of we're not designed to eat 8 times a day.
No.
You know what I mean? You're not designed to eat 3 meals or 4 or 5 snacks a day.
Do you know who wants you to eat 8 times a day? The people that make the food.
They designed it the way they knew exactly what they were doing, because they knew that you're going to keep on coming back and you're going to keep buying it. And they know what they're doing. So when you walk up with your groceries, what's on either side? Yeah. You have all the chocolate.
Yeah.
You have all the chocolate. So when you go put a child, what's the child gonna go after?
Yeah. No kidding.
The child is going after those foods.
And we've all been there. I remember it was funny. I was just in Costco the other day looking at all these buggies, and kids were in buggies. And I was like, oh my God, I remember when my mom put me in the shopping cart. And what did I do? Reach for all the colors, reach for all the stuff. It was like an instinctive thing that kids do. And that's the other side of this. Once you start to see the poison, or you see the marketing tricks, when you walk into a supermarket, it's so crazy how it changes everything. You can see the bullshit. You can see the nonsense and where that comes from. There's a reason where products are placed where they are. Everything in a grocery store is calculated for you to buy it now. So when they put up these displays of Coke and Pepsi, like, oh, look, you're going to celebrate friendship with Coca-Cola. Like, that is a marketing trick to make you buy it. That being said, they blame you for being weak, and you should moderate this. What does Coca-Cola want? You to have one Coke every couple of weeks? No, they want to resort. They put your friend's name on a Coke. Buy it for your friend. Like, that's the kind of shit that once you start to see, it'll open up your eyes. And it's like, we don't need to trust the science. We just have
And then when we look at the marketing thing, you'll see the yogurts, the protein bars, they'll all say it's enriched with vitamins and minerals. I mean, they have fucking cereals out now that are saying that they're heart healthy. Yeah. Cereals. Like, you know, I mean, if that doesnn't worry you, I don't know what will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, it's everywhere. Everything you look at now, you look at we only spoke with Dr. Anna the other day. You look at bread now, it has protein in it. This is where we're going at the moment. You look at bread, it has protein in it, so I'm getting my protein in on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, a protein bar has 30 grams of protein in it. I'm still getting my protein in on a daily basis. And nobody on social media is explaining this, because these are the very people that are advocating this. They're saying to you, there's nothing wrong with this. If you're struggling to eat, if you're struggling to meet your protein thresholds, there's nothing wrong with having a protein bar a couple of days a week. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's crazy.
And that's something that, like, you know, my mom always tells me. She's like, how do you know all this? And it's like, once you ask one question about something, where does that take you? This is where it gets hard to handle, because it takes you in so many places that it starts to click. Like, holy shit, what does my body need? Not that. That you can start there. Why am I eating this? Oh my God, I'm eating this because you start to observe yourself acting with food, and it starts to become, holy shit, well, I'm kind of curious about hormones. I'm kind of curious about macros, whatever way you look at it. When you start to realize what protein is, it's not on the package. It's amino acids.
Yeah.
You need complete amino acids. Like, the whole reason I'm not a nutritionist was because they're telling you need complete protein, but don't eat the complete protein. That's pretty much my nutrition education, right?
Exactly. And when you look at the diet, the one thing I always say to people is this: are you able to control that situation? You know what I mean? So if you're on a low-calorie diet, are you telling me, hand on your heart, that every single week you're in full control of that situation? Or are you struggling? Are you struggling mentally and fit and emotionally to keep this going over a long period of time? They know fully well that they're struggling big time. They're struggling big time. And when they are struggling, what do these experts say? This is all in your head.
Yeah.
You need more discipline. Grow up. Grow up. And if you want to lose the weight, you need to put the fucking work in.
Yeah.
Like,
willpower.
You know what I mean? It's willpower. Yeah. It's all about will. So these people are shifting that blame onto you. They're saying, okay, the reason why you're not losing weight is because you're the one that's not putting the work in here. You're the one that's failing. You're the one that keeps on failing every single year. It's you that's the problem, not me.
And then someone comes along and says, I'm going to try the carnivore diet. And they go, that's not good for you. I've had clients, doctors tell my clients that diet causes strokes right off the bat. Bam. You're feeling better. You're it's like, what? And then that's the thing. So that's what they sell. The only way out of this is medications or willpower.
Yeah.
And because you're genetically broken and it's bad luck. Good. Sorry. You got to diet harder. And all these people I'd love it to hear it in the chats. Your experience as well is like, when you feel this and you know that you found something that arguably could save people's lives. And then we get discredited because it's not sustainable long-term. Wait a second. I couldn't walk. Now I can. And it's bad for me. That's the message. But the shit that got me in the bed the first place is the stuff that I should be moderating.
Exactly.
This whole chicken and egg bullshit. And if you look at this slide, this is the adults. Like, this is a global projection. Here, I'll just turn this off for a second. The global projection of, look, when we were born, Mark, in 1975, there was this, the yellow line is the adult obesity rate. It was like around 1%. It's grown to almost 10% of the world is obese.
Mm-hmm.
That's all the people that are starving. That's all the big. So this is an average. If you look at, sorry, that's the childhood obesity. This is where we're at. Sorry, the blue line is the adults. That's almost 20% obesity rate. This is an existential threat. This is not, like what, and all the other shit comes into play. That's obesity. That's not diabetes. That's not heart disease. That's not cancer. That's not. Look at that. And we all know, everybody knows this leads to other very serious health complications. And now I'm going to show you something, Mark, that kind of makes it, it's genetics, right? It's genetics. Well, these lines, okay, on that same graph, the first line here around 1976, 77 was the food guidelines introduction. The second line is the processed food explosion. Well, that's in like 80 something. And then the 90s is when the seed oils took over, heart healthy. Like this was like, I mean, it might be off by a few years, but okay. All this stuff happens. Look at the trends.
Yeah.
So someone's going to tell me, well, you don't know your stats. This is like, no. This is a generalization from the World Health Organization. They're telling us this is going on. Where's the genetics? We just de-evolved from 75 till.
But this is what I can't understand from these fitness professionals, because they always say that what we ate in the 1970s is the same to what we're eating right now. It's not, because the world, this world organization came out and they came out with these stats that in the last 50 years these numbers are going in this direction.
Yeah,
they're going in this direction. And they're not stopping. And they're saying that in the next 5 years, it could get a lot worse. A lot worse. So where are we going wrong here? Is it us that we're the problem here? Or is it something else? Because at the moment, we don't know what's going on. We haven't got a clue. It's not because we've been told it's not the food. It can't possibly be the food. Okay, so what is it then? Because at the moment, nobody else is coming out with these answers, but you're coming out with a solution. This is wrong.
Yeah.
Like I said this many times, I have no problem with medication, none whatsoever. But you need to look at food first. You need to look at what you're putting into your body. We cannot keep on ignoring this. You cannot keep on telling me that me eating red meat for the last 6 years is having a major harm on my health when I'm in the best shape possible. I feel absolutely incredible. I have tons of energy. You cannot keep on convincing me that what I'm doing is wrong. You just can't. But I'm fully entitled to ask you the question, because the food that you're eating has no nutritional value in it whatsoever. None. Yeah. So that's the difference. The food that I'm eating has a lot of nutritional value. A lot.
Yeah, well, it's arguable that that's what we've been eating since the dawn of time, and it's been a trick. Like, it's if you every facet of our health, if you just really, people, follow the money, like just do a little research for an hour, you will be horrified at how these things coincide on a timeline. You look at the Ansel Keys nonsense with cholesterol back in the Eisenhower having the heart attack, thanks to Nina Taj Schultz, that came out with a big fat surprise. And then the war on heart disease started. It was manufactured. People weren't dropping dead of heart attacks. They documented. The doctors in the 1850s or whatever were doctors. They came to your house. They cared for your health. They were not stupid. So they would have seen this. They would have said, holy shit, there's, Farmer Joe he just dropped dead of a heart attack. This, oh my God, the people that didn't happen. Why didn't it not happen until the 60s? Then it's now look at the heart disease. What? So what's going on?
And it's getting even younger.
Yeah.
Men and women are dying even younger.
And it's genetic. That's genetic.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an insult to our system. Maybe it's an insult to the environment. But something has changed. And like when the people, the way out of it, what they say, the way out of it is to eat more of the stuff when you're looking at this trend going up. Heart healthy canola oil, that should be criminal to say. Yeah. I don't give a shit if you think, well, maybe seed oils aren't that bad. They are unnecessary. They were never part of our food supply. They were never a human food, period. So I don't give a shit, Jacob Foods, if you say, well, they're not that bad, they're not your problem. They could be a very big problem at worst. They may not be what we're saying at very best. But I'll tell you what, they are 100% unnecessary. And, you throw in the sugar lobbies. Like they told us. Look at the difference between, if you look at the UK and teeth, look at the UK and where their sugar, because they were like in the British Empire in their days, they made this a household thing. Sugar became the problem because they kept adding more to everything. And now it's like, we know this. Sugar's bad. Now we're justifying it. It doesn't make sense. Like, what?
And this is what when we go back to the GLP-1 conversation, this is what drives me crazy, because we've had many people on this podcast talking about how these injections almost killed these people.
Yeah.
And it's not just the people that we're speaking to. This is going on worldwide. I mean, these people are facing a $2 billion lawsuit at the moment. It's still in the works at the moment. And you said to me, I think it was last week, that in the next couple of years it's going to be worth over 180 billion or 180 trillion or something like that.
I'm going to show. Yeah. And this next one that I want to look at. I'm going to turn that off for a second here. Hold on. So look at this obesity trend versus GLP-1 expansion. Okay. This is when they were introduced in just over 2000. We're about, in the 2020, they were approved for obesity. Projected approximately 6% of all adults in the fucking world are going to be on them by 2030. That's
scary,
300 million global users and greater than 100 billion projected market size. Do you think this is a coincidence? Like we all come from a perspective of our own values and our own moral standpoint. These people do not care about you. These people are prepared to do anything. And I have deep down, I feel this was all planned. It shows that, we create the problem, you get a reaction, and we have the solution. So did they know back in the 70s that, one, sugar and grains were not human food, but we push it harder, people get sick. The obesity crisis comes up, we just bombard them with a bunch of processed garbage, make it easy. And now we have the way out. It's a perpetuating cycle that keeps going. 6% of the world on GLP-1? Who benefits from that?
Honestly, it's scary when you think about it. It really is. It's frightening. It's absolutely frightening. And when we talk about what's going on in the world at the moment with people trying to lose weight, it's not just the average person. No. You look at the Oprah situation. I've said this before. She had many people looking after her. She's one of the richest people in the world. She's one of the most powerful women in the world. I'm pretty sure she could have got any dietitian all over the world to help her. How come these dietitians couldn't help her? When you look at Serena Williams, another one, an unbelievable, amazing tennis star. She struggled with her eating habits all her life. Again, I'm pretty sure she had all the best dietitians looking after her. Why couldn't these people not get it right? Because they were all focusing on the same issue.
Yeah.
Just being a calorie deficit. They weren't focusing on the addiction part of the food. That's the problem right there.
And that's the other side of this too, where people don't realize, like, there's a reason why they started putting caloric value on the menus, on your foodstuffs. Why? It gives you an excuse to just moderate. It's okay. It's low cal. Eat more of it. It's better for you. Low calorie does not mean better for you. It never has. It never will. I don't give a shit if you believe in the calories in, calories out model. That has never. It's so ridiculous that this is where we're at with this nonsense. And when someone says calories, you know, we don't eat calories. You do not. You do not eat calories.
No.
You use it as a measurement of energy, but it's not even protein is, you know, you can
energy weighs nothing on a scale. That's a fact.
Yeah.
When you step on a scale, what are you measuring? Are you measuring energy or are you measuring mass? You're measuring mass.
Yeah.
That's what your body's made out of.
Yeah.
Your body has no idea how much energy you carry. It hasn't got a clue. That's the reason why this calorie model is a fraud. Because when we look at the calorie model, the only thing that's frustrating about the calorie model at the beginning is that it does work. It does work because we've all done it. We've all been on a low calorie diet. But the thing about it is, it doesn't last very long. It's a quick fix. It's a short-term solution. So you can't argue against the narrative and say, well, oh, a calorie deficit doesn't work. We're fully aware a calorie deficit works, but can you do it? Can you do it over a 6-year period? Not a chance. Not a chance.
And how many people do this? How many people say, well, I'm going on holiday. I'm going to go on a diet. And then when I get on holidays, I'm just going to unload. I'm just going to like unleash and let live. Then what happens? You come back, you put on holiday weight. And it's like, well, back to the plan. Oh, don't worry, I'll just diet again. How willpower is finite, man. You're not gonna outwill yourself forever. It's you know, certain people obviously are blessed with this, you know, David Goggins willpower, but not everybody on a scale is not like that. They're not. It's just the game is rigged. And when you got Oprah and Serena Williams. I'll just, you know, it's like this is all I do. You know, it's great. Does everybody have that ability to have chefs cook for you, like put you on a menu diet plan, and then just laugh about your Ozempic, how it's so awesome, even when they're coming off? Whoa, when I came off, I gained weight and Do you see that's dangerous? Like what the dangers are about this? And it's unbelievable to me how, you know, people that just try and speak logic get ridiculed. And it's like, you know, I've heard, like I'm doing a video on an article by the Guardian, and then it's the same thing. They're telling you that, yeah, of course, when you come off Ozempic, you're going to gain weight back. That's why you shouldn't come off it. Basically, that's the article. Like, once again, lifestyle medications. Are you serious? If you just listen to what those words mean, this is where we're at. And it's like, man, it's a perpetuating cycle.
And you said something interesting, Tony. It's when you come off the injections, you gain the weight. So there's no cut-off point.
Yeah.
So even if you are using these injections as a short-term solution, it's like, okay, what do I do next? Yeah. Am I going? You're telling me that this is genetic, this is disease. You're telling me that I have to be on these for the rest of my life. That's the problem I have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the problem I have. So personally, for me, this is just for me. If someone came to me that's obese, I wouldn't even be thinking about the GLP-1 injections. I'd be like, okay, tell me about your lifestyle. Tell me about your food. We're going down this route first of all. And if this doesn't work, I'll take full responsibility for it. And I'll say, okay, I was wrong. Maybe we might need to do some microdosing here. But I'm taking full control of that situation.
Yeah.
I'm taking full control of that because I know I can deal with this because I know how the human body works. I know how we drop body fat. I'm talking about body fat. Exactly. We're not losing weight. We're not losing weight here. We know we can lose weight on any other diet. How can we tap into body fat?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. And calories don't do that.
Yeah, and you touched on a couple things there too with we talk about weight like weight. We've said this before, weight loss is healthy. That's not true. Weight loss, you do not want to be losing your muscle and bone density. You do not, especially as we get older. And that's the thing where, you know, this sort of thing happens in a doctor's office where, okay, you're obese, you need to lose weight because it's going to kill you. We have a drug that will help you lose that weight. And if you don't do that, you know, you're gonna suffer. Fear. Now, if you don't do the weight loss, you've already implanted the fear about the obesity. You've done everything. You've tried everything. Now we're going to do this because we have to worry about your obesity. Then if you go off this drug, you're going to get obese again. So now it's a double fear backlash where these people are like, they're not educated. They don't understand. I'm not talking about the doctors. I'm talking about the patients where what does this thing do to you? Why is this working so well? Don't you think of that? Why?
And I'm just going to add one more point as well. When you go on these injections, they affect the gut big time, because that's what they do. They shut off the hunger hormone. So you're putting all this crap into your stomach, and that's what shuts off the hunger. So you're not actually doing this the right way. You're actually filling your intestines up with a lot of crap. And that's not good, because I'm hearing things like constipation, gastro problems. It's like, wow, like you're having all these digestive issues, you're having all these pains in your stomach. Do you not realize what you're doing here? And you're not solving the problem here.
I'm gonna get a pamphlet, and I want to see the side effects, and I know kind of what they are, but if people don't realize what actually gastroparesis means, that means your colon is seized. No more peristalsis. It's not doing anything with the stuff that you're putting in there. Do you think that's a good side effect? Because if that happens, what do you think happens? But this is and do you think it happens right away? Some people, they might even be fortunate, because if it happens right away, they're going to be getting help in another avenue. But 10 years on us, how do you know when it's going to happen? This is what's leading up to you. And what Mark is saying about the hunger hormones, this is a GLP-1 agonist. It puts a more signal into your body to say, don't eat. If you're eating shit, that's not a good idea. That's not a good idea, because you're not nourishing yourself regardless. And now your hormones get all messed up. And, you know, it's just nuts when it's like, look at the whole information. It works. Why do they work so well? Think about it. You know what I mean?
I just don't understand how the argument of I'm prepared to take a GLP-1 injection for the rest of my life, but you're not prepared to eat red meat for the rest of your life. Like, it's just, the mind boggles. It's just crazy how the world is at the moment. That if I'm broken, I have to do the medication. I have to. This is the only way. And it's like, do you not see what the problem is here? Do you not see that you're not questioning this? You're saying to yourself that there's no other way I can solve this. There's no other way. I have to be on, and this, you've been brainwashed this way. You've been told that this has to be done.
And this is where the program that I'm sort of creating comes in, because all of a sudden you lose insurance, or you lose some financial problem, or God forbid, a side effect that's so overwhelming or frightening that scares you off this drug. Where is the support now? What is going to happen? There is no education, and I'm all for education. There may be a place for things, but what we've learned all our lives is don't worry about it. Just don't overindulge. Just don't do this. Eat good things. What's our idea of good things is completely wrong and backwards. So by the time you get to that point where you're talking about, and your fear, and you're pushed into a situation for your life, why can't we just talk about like nutrition and nourishment and where it comes from? It's not a coincidence that the carnivore beef gets a backlash from all these. They accuse the beef lobby of being funded and tricking you into eating red meat, and the dairy lobby it's like, this is exactly what they are doing with their grains and their sugars and their refined carbs and their seed oils. It's so crazy how it's ass backwards. When, the food pyramid, we talked about that a couple of weeks ago, when they flip that upside down and go, oh my God, red meat's at the top, they're accusing the meat lobby, the ranchers of collective, like, look at the food companies, look at the money behind them. And you can see, and this is all part of it. The Problem, reaction, solution. David Icke says this beautifully. But we relate this to our food supply. They create the problem. They already have the solution. Don't worry. When we get freaked out because of heart disease, we got drugs. We got, like, there is no knowledge, no education, no forewarning. Like, if you had a serious course where, you know, you're thinking about a GLP-1, this is a mandatory course to understand what's going to happen to your body and what's going to happen to you. There's none of that. That's a doctor's visit. Or now we've seen this in the malls. You walk in, oh, Wegovy, just go to this website and you'll get it for a discount. What? Like, you know, like what? We talk about informed consent, but there may be consent. There ain't no information. And it's just leading us to this. It's crazy, man. And it's not stopping anytime soon, which is frightening to me. And I mean, I don't know what you think. Like all.
No, and I totally agree with you, Tony. I'm just as this subject. Every time this subject comes up, I'm just as passionate as you are on this. I just don't get it. I honestly just don't get it, because like you, I was in America recently, and I've told this story many times. I was in one of the parks, and they had this massive screen, huge screen, massive screen, and every 2 minutes, Ozempic was on the screen.
Yeah.
And then in my room, every second channel, they were promoting this shit. It was in your face.
Here's another thing that you could that they don't do. If you're on this and you're losing weight, where's your calcium score test? Where's your visceral fat? Just get an MRI and know. Where's your bone? Your just a DEXA scan that tells you where your lean tissues. If you're losing muscle, if you're losing bone, they blame calcium. They say, "Oh, you've got osteoporosis. That's a calcium problem." What?
But see, this is where I'm frustrated about the carnivores, because this is what they're focusing on. They're focusing on blood work because they want to get in shape. That's all they're worried about is, I want to get in shape, but my blood work are saying to me my triglycerides are high, my fasting insulin is very, very high. But when you dig deep into it, that we know that you can get in shape very, very easily, regardless whether you've been doing carnivore for 6 months. You just need to track your macros. You need to look at your macros and say, okay, well, maybe I need to make a few changes here. It's not a matter, okay, if I want to lower my blood sugar, to add in more fucking sugar into the diet. Like, make it make sense.
Yeah.
Make it make sense. I want to lower my blood sugar, so I've got to add in more sugar.
Yeah.
Like, do you see where I'm going here?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense, because that's all they're focusing on. They're only focusing on, okay, as long as I'm losing weight here, that's the most important thing. And I can do that by adding carbohydrates in. But they're not focusing on, like you said at the very, very beginning, the most important thing. And that's what's going on in the inside of the body. And just because your blood work says one thing, that doesn't mean that it's all perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And not to mention, who are you measured against?
Exactly.
You're getting your average blood glucose measured against the general population that is the average health of a nation or a country or a group subset of people. So what is normal? Diabetes is a diagnosis at a certain point, but the thing is, it's happening all the way. Like you're gonna feel completely different if you're going through a carb lifestyle compared to someone who's going on a fat adapted lifestyle. You're gonna feel completely different. You know, you're gonna feel great if you're eating a lot of fat and protein, whereas when you're eating carbohydrates, you're nuts. And here's the thing: like, I have a real tough time, and I might get yelled at for saying this, but if you're doing really well and you've had these great turnarounds with your health and you have this vibrancy, and then all of a sudden you start feeling meh or not as good, maybe it's something else. Maybe it's your environment. Maybe you're exposed to something that you weren't exposed to a couple of years ago. Maybe is it the nutrition that you healed on that is actually getting worse? So you have this miraculous health turnaround, and now you're blaming that it's not sustainable long term because you're the same person you were 5 years. I'm a different person than I was 6 years ago, and I know it's not the food I'm eating if I feel like shit. There's something going on, and so quick to judge. We are getting riddled with like electromagnetic radiation, EMFs, fucking screen toxicities. We don't have any, like, I mean, and I don't know if you know who Jack Cruz is. He's a bit of a dick. He's a bit of, but he's all about decentralized medicine, and he believes food is a driver, but it's your light hygiene. Like this light toxicity that we're all getting. Look at the headlights. I don't know. Maybe someone in the chat wants to light up about this. No pun intended. Anyway, the headlights on cars now, the new cars. If you're driving down the road, look at the difference in the headlights, where the new headlights are shining so bright, and you get an old car and it's like a yellower, dimmer. That's crazy. That's doing things to your optic nerves.
And I only learned this during the week when you guys had this conversation. The mode conversation. This opened my eyes as well. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? This is insane. Yeah. This is and if anybody hasn't heard it, you need to go back and listen to this, because it's not just like what Tony said, the foods, the training, it's our environment. It's everywhere. You know what I mean? It's literally around us.
God forbid, look at your water. Where are you drinking? How are you drinking your water? Like, this is, like, you know, what I've found, like, over my time doing this stuff and helping people, and you need to look at everything. And I mean, the food is just like, in my opinion, it's something that you can moderately control to the best of your ability. The other stuff you can't. And, you know, when we look at the functions of vitamins and minerals and these, they have no idea, man. Like, B vitamins are so vitally important to a lot of cellular functions in your blood and your energy. If you're not they don't know what the upper limit is. And if you look at just B1, everything depletes you of B1, and it's water soluble. You're constantly, you may need to eat more, God forbid. It's crazy,
and then when we look at what's going on with the elderly, they're losing their memory as they get older. And what are they lacking in? They're lacking in B12. And you look at what happens to a vegan. If a vegan hasn't got B12 in their diet, they're going to struggle mentally, big time. Big time.
You know what, Mark? The way you say that too is, like, people don't realize B12 gets synthesized in your jejunum or whatever, in your small intestine. Yeah. If your gut's broken, that could be a problem. So, you know, people just think supplement. But in my opinion, it's nature. If the closer we're aligned to nature, in every step, it seems like every step of the way, with our environment, with our, like, nutrition, if you're aligned to nature, you're going to do well. The disease can't happen, really. Like, that's what it's like really easy 5th grade level thinking here. Like, the closer you are to a natural everything, the better your body's going to function. Now, we can argue how much you need or what's going. The things aren't the same anymore. Like, and they're doing that too. They're killing our soil. They're saying carbon dioxide's bad. Do you want to be net zero, where this is where the plants, like, the plants need carbon dioxide? Like, people don't realize zero CO2 means death of the planet.
Yeah.
So,
but when you look at the conversation that we had a few weeks ago about the butter, you cannot blame the farmers for this, because you need to look at what the cows are eating. The soil in the grass is not the same as what it was years ago.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? This is where I just don't understand this.
Yeah.
You guys are causing the problems here.
Yeah.
You're causing the problem, and you're blaming the farmers. You're saying, oh, these people have lied, that the butter that we're currently eating at the moment that has all these chemicals in it. But you're the ones that are fucking causing the problems.
And unfortunately, I think there's another side of this, is, like, you know, we all talk about this, and I know there's a few people that would be seriously down to do this. What are you prepared to give up? Like, are you prepared to give up your plastic or your paper cup that's lined in plastic because it's bad for you? Are you prepared to stop producing them and then going back old school glass? Like, this is where we're going to have to go. Like, paper and wood and glass, they're natural. All this plastic bullshit is not. Look at our pipes. Our pipes were copper pipes only, 20 years ago. Now they're all this PVC bullshit. You don't think that stuff leaches into your hot water sitting in a plastic pipe. So that's the thing that ties into the food side, is all these, like you mentioned, all these carnivores jumping ship. It's, do whatever you want to do, but you're blaming something for all these X factors that are possibilities. And nutrition is not one of them. If your body's getting fully nourished, that's what should be that's what your goal should be. I mean, whether you're eating kimchi or not, it's not the point. But if you're naturally trying to eat human food to the best of your ability and you feel great, you don't change a thing, and then the next day you don't feel so great, it's probably not the food. There's something going on. And then everybody chases their tails or blames. Like, it's just, I like to look at, I don't know about you, buddy. I like to look at what's necessary. Like, focus on what's necessary and then expand out a little bit. What you tolerate, what you feel good on will be different. But blaming genetics for obesity, going on weight loss injections when you're not dealing with the real problem to begin with is madness to me. And
why would you go through pain in life just to look a certain way? Like, just really think about that for a second. Why would you put yourself through all of this when you know there's something not right? Whether you're walking around and your gut health is not the best, or these injections are having massive side effects. Like, just think about that for a second. Why would you put yourself through that just to look good? Like, why?
Well, I'll tell you what, man. I think they prey on our vanity. I think they prey on all of our any social weakness that we might have or might be exposed to. They prey on it. And if you don't understand that they do that, you better figure it out, because every single thing that you're emotionally charged about is designed to get you emotionally charged, to react, to buy something, to buy into something. And it's funny how all the people that are promoting an ancestral way or a human way are excommunicated from the mainstream, I believe, because it works. And
isn't it amazing that a couple of weeks ago these injections were very, very expensive, and because we're living in a financial situation at the moment, everybody's struggling. They were like, okay, how do we solve this problem? Oh, I know what we'll do. We'll bring the price down and we'll bring out some pills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and this is what they have to say at the moment, as I only checked it today, that you can get this in pill form for as little as 20 euros.
Okay. So here we go. This is a good point, because now,
you know what I mean?
You can't afford to buy real food, but you can afford to buy this.
That's what I'm saying. So they know exactly what they're doing. They saw the gap in the market there. They were like, okay, people haven't got the money to pay for these injections. Instead of losing these people, how can we keep these on side?
And you can damn well bet that I'm going to do some research into the taxation on your liver.
100%. They didn't give a shite. As long as they're getting your money, and if there's over 1 million people in the world that are doing this, that are paying for these pills, 20 euros a pop, that's 20 million quid. That's 20 million quid.
Yeah. And you know what?
It's crazy. Crazy.
And I'm not knocking free market capitalism. I'm not knocking anything that's like that. I think everybody has the right to do whatever, but I believe in information as well and transparency. These are not transparent. They do not. You cannot test time. I'm sorry, but every single study that's ever done is not still going. That should tell you something. So even if this, I don't know what big pharma standards are with the FDA and the whatever, but I think it's like 2 weeks to what? 2 years. Do they study these things? Look at this slide. When GLP-1s got introduced in 2005, now we're at 2026. Do you think there's a study been going on for 26 years? Well, there actually has been. It's the society study that's proving that it can be fatal, but that there's no study. So trust what science?
Exactly. And I only said this to you the other day, Tony. I had this conversation with someone, this moron on social media, and he was telling me that we should trust in these injections because they've been 10 years in operation. 10 years in operation. I mean, it's just, it's crazy. So 10 years in operation and we should trust this now.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it's
I go with, like, I don't know if anybody's heard of Dr. Tom Cowan, but a brilliant mind, medical doctor that gave up on the clinical practice because he saw all the holes. But his logic, and I've heard this from Ivor Cummins as well, is proving negatives. So people say, well, show me a study to prove the carnivore diet's good. Okay, well, I can
You're
show
you're looking at him. You're looking at him.
I can show you that it's not bad. Like, this is the thing. When you look at the logic, it's obviously not bad. So now they got to prove that. It's wrong. We don't have to prove it's sustainable. We just have to say it's not bad. Simple. So he references this stuff like, there's a murder in Ireland. Mark, you're visiting me in Canada, and they arrest you for murder. And you're like, well, I wasn't there. Well, they say, prove it. And he's, well, Tony, we were in Vancouver, Canada at the time of the murder. You don't give a shit. You just know you didn't kill the guy. That's it. That's all you have to prove. You don't have to prove anything else except for you didn't do it. And that's the way we look at these stupid studies, is we're like trying to prove all this shit. And it's like, no. You're trying to prove something is beneficial. We just look at the test of time and say that, well, when it wasn't here, it was fun. We didn't need it. So it's when you start looking at these things with logic, and all these people that say, and I appreciate Bart Kay and Eddie Goki and the guys that call out the science, because that's what they're saying. We don't have to tell you it's good. We just know it's not what you're saying. Simple. There's no saturated fat damages or causes heart disease. It doesn't exist. They're trying to prove it does. And it's like, well, we just have to tell you it doesn't. And it's anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this, but it's amazing what happened. Like, do you need the corporations and these institutions that were created to protect you, telling you that something they've introduced is good for you?
And the thing is, like, this system that we're all into, where we were all into, it just keeps on failing people. Yeah. Like it's been proven. Yeah. It's been proven. Like, there's not one diet out there, not one. You can talk to me about the vegan diet. You can talk to me about the Mediterranean diet, the paleo diet, the whatever diet you want. There's no other diet that's doing what Carnivore is doing currently right now. Yeah. Like, there's none. And, like, the evidence is there. It's there. It's in front of you.
I think there's some signals that's it's not necessarily the carnivore diet, but it's an ancestral way of eating and a proper human diet. Yeah. And find what works for you. Like, I'm not saying broccoli's good. I have my opinions on it. I don't think broccoli's necessary. I don't think broccoli's necessarily good for you. It may not be that bad for you, but find your way through all this noise and figure it out for yourself. You need to understand that it's food. What is food? Start there. Just start there. Ask yourself, what is food?
Yeah.
And you'll get somewhere. You'll get further. And I think everybody that starts to figure this out, you start to see things a little differently. When you're walking through all the grocery stores with all the candy bars and stuff, I just don't see it anymore. I don't care. They can't play me. You know what I mean? It's not about that. It's not. And all food is not equal. All food is even meat. Like, find, start with what you can afford and then gravitate toward what better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was the same. Like, I've said this before. 6 years ago, I was struggling financially. I hadn't got a pot to piss in. And I was like, okay, how do I make this work? And it was easy. It was one of the easiest things I ever did. All I was buying was ground beef, eggs, and I was living off sardines. And I can tell you right now, my weekly shop was around 60, maybe 70 euros. But the thing was, I didn't need anything else. Yeah. I had enough food to keep me going for a week because I hadn't got those hunger issues anymore. I was eating 2 meals. I was eating 2 meals a day. I mean, if you're struggling with your eating habits, trust me when I say this, have 2 cans of sardines. Nothing else. Just eat 2 cans of sardines, and you let me know. You let me know if you're still hungry after those 2 cans of sardines, because I couldn't believe it. Because the one thing about the carnivore diet is this: it's very, very easy to undereat. Extremely easy. It really is. Because that's one thing that I struggled with when at the very, very beginning, when I came into this way of eating. You're talking to someone who used to eat, like, I used to put away these 10,000, 15,000 calorie challenges easily. But I couldn't put away 2 ribeyes. 2 ribeyes on its own. I was struggling. I was like, holy shit. And then when I look at the calorie value, if we're going by calories, I was like, Jesus, I used to eat 15,000 calories of processed shit.
Yeah.
And now I can't put away fight like 600 calories of just eating ribeye steak. I struggled.
Yeah.
I struggled at the beginning. I was like, holy shit, how come I can't eat anymore now? Couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Well, there's so many mechanisms that are going off, right? Like when our bodies are fully nourished, it's uncharted territory. And I think a lot of people got it. It's very simple. You have been not eating like a human, and once you start eating like a human, your body's going to take some adjusting. It's everybody's a little different. Some people get ravenously hungry. Other people get satiated so quickly that they. But the thing is, you will get there. And what I actually had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and he's like, "Oh man, but I can't afford that. Like I'm you know, what are your thoughts on Mr. Noodles, on the like ramen noodles?" And I'm like, okay, let's look at it gram for gram nutrition brought to the table. One of these, even though you're spending $2.50 on, and it's cheap, brings nothing. So why don't you buy half a dozen eggs for that $2.50? Look at what that does. Or a can of sardines. Like, we have to switch that around, because this affordable bullshit, you're killing yourself in spite of your budget when you could be eating high quality, low cost
Absolutely
stuff.
And when you look at the plant-based diet, like you said, Tony, gram for gram, when it comes to protein and plant-based protein, it doesn't even come fucking close.
No.
Doesn't even come close. You can argue as much as you want. You can have as much tofu, as much spinach as you like. Gram for gram, protein-wise, it doesn't even. It won't even scratch the surface.
And that's where, you know, like, there's hacks out there. I mean, I know Parmesan cheese is expensive, but it's usually real. I mean, if it's not real, it's not Parmigiano Reggiano. It has to be from Italy with these certain standards. Well, Paul Saladino just put out something and said, this is the best kind of protein bar. Eat like a chunk of Parmesan cheese. You know, I know it's expensive, but that's like 10, 12, 14, 20 protein bars. How much do you spend because you think you're getting protein? You want to add the protein. So you start, you know, even with shakes, like, this is stuff that you can figure it out, man. And ground beef, they're trying to make it more expensive. They're trying, buddy. Like, our eggs are ridiculous in Canada.
I know. Same here.
But every time that I look at what I need to buy, and I don't care, because I would rather buy less of something that gives me more than more of something that gives me less.
Absolutely.
Simple.
Yeah, I'm the same as you, Tom, because I've never put myself in that situation ever again where my food habits are out of control.
Yeah.
Where I have to eat. I'm constantly thinking about food. I'm getting angry. We've all been there. We're getting angry around food. I don't have that anymore. And I refuse to have that in my life anymore. And I know this is the reason why I have to go strict with my diet, because I know the minute I add sugar in, I'm in trouble. I'm not saying this is for everybody. That's what, like you mentioned, you have to find out what works best for you. This is what works best for me. I have to be strict. I cannot allow any sugar, whether that's a sweetener, fruits, complex carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, any sugar that comes into my body, I'm in deep shit.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's a big thing too, is like, this stuff isn't personal. Like, everybody takes it. I've said it before, I wish I could eat pasta, because I'm Italian. I grew up with spaghetti dinners around the table with the family. That was a staple 3-4 times a week for me. And I just don't do well. Like, I don't feel good doing it. Do I miss it? I miss the times. I miss the what it stands for. But I'm not compromising that anymore. I'm not sacrificing something for that joy, because it feels terrible. I can do ice cream with sugar once in a while. It doesn't do the same thing. If I eat pasta, especially this pasta in Canada, my guts go crazy. I feel pain. And this is immediately. So it's one of those things. It's not personal. And people, you know, like, you admit that, Mark. It takes a while to admit that. It's you got to be honest with yourself. And like, some of this food that doesn't do well with you, it's just the way it is. You got to realize that you need to be nourished no matter what. Nourishment.
And this is the reason why I'll go back to the alcohol and drug conversation. When you realize that you've got a problem, When you realize that, okay, now I know what people were saying to me all along. I could never see this, but now I can. That's when you're like, okay, this is working for me. Now I know what I have to do in order to battle my demons, so to speak. You have to see it for you have to see it for yourself. That's why you have to open your eyes and do it at a slow pace so you can actually learn about yourself.
That's the key.
And when you go at the right pace and you learn as you do this, that's when you're like, oh, now I understand this. Now I can really understand this, because we said this before. I would 100% advocate to everybody watching this. If you're ever doing the carnivore diet and you're at that stage where everything's perfect, you've got to go back and experiment. You have to. In my opinion, you have to, because you have to realize how powerful these foods are in your body. And you have to realize that I can't do this anymore.
And that's the other bullshit argument that people have. Well, you're just not used to it anymore. Oh, really? Let's flip that around. We just got numb. You were numb to the toxins. You were numb. And I mean, not everybody has a severe oxalate reaction, but they do what they do. And that's a fact. That's the thing. It's like we all, and that's the thing that gets tossed around too, is like what we tolerate and what is optimal is a completely different, different conversation. Some people have to, other people can't. And I mean, that's where I think it gets muddy in this space, because everybody goes, well, he says this and he says that. You have to feel it for yourself. And I mean, is there gray areas? There's always gray areas, but the empowerment, the taking the power back for yourself, you will find your way with, certain focusing on the foundations, focusing on essential nutrients, focusing on what your macros generally should be. And in my opinion, you need to cut out carbohydrates completely for a time to get into that ability to feel how it goes.
Yeah.
And if you do not, you're just treading water all the time. And then you hear these influencers say, well, we're bringing back carbs back in. Well, these poor sugar addicted people that just looked up to you were like, oh, okay, we can do this again. Yay. That's missing the point completely. And I think that's where we get into trouble, is like, sugar is insidious. It has never been in our food supply like it is now. It's never been like available like it is now. It's never, maybe fruit, maybe berries, arguments all over the place. Sure. If you do well eating blueberries, all the power to you. I don't necessarily enjoy them. I don't really care, but I don't really like apples and never have. So I don't need fruit, but I'm not going to go chug back honey because Paul Saladino says it's good for you. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Because like I don't care what anybody else says. I don't give a shit what any expert tells you on social media. Yes, when we look at fruit, it may contain fructose, but it's not the only sugar. It's not the only sugar that's in these fruits. It's been proven so many times. And you have glucose in there, you have sucrose in there, and if you do a little bit of research into how sucrose is made, you will understand exactly what we're talking about. And I've said this before also. If you're convinced that sugar's not, or that fruit is not the problem, okay, you wear a CGM. You wear a CGM, and you tell me what your blood sugars are like after eating fruits.
Well, plus
I'm talking about fruit on its own. Peel the fiber off and just eat the fruit on its own, and you let me know what happens to your blood sugar.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing too. Like when I was talking about earlier about getting back into alignment with nature, like just think about what would have been around. Yeah. Like I live in Vancouver, Canada. I would have had fruit maybe 2 months of the year tops. And go to an apple tree and eat 15 apples. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's just these off mechanisms happen and seasonal. If you're in the equator and like, whoa, my Lord, there's mangoes everywhere. Probably would be eating mangoes a little bit more often than I do now. But I'm sorry, but I don't agree with strawberries from Mexico and California in the wintertime where I'm at, and just because I need strawberries. That to me doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So. And at the end of the day, we're not bleeding stupid. When we look back at our ancestors' days, we're well aware that these people would have had fruits. We're well aware that these people would have went long days fasting. We're well aware that these people ate animal-based proteins, or they probably would have had to rely on maybe a few plants here and there. But you need to understand that the difference is very, very simple. The foods back then are nowhere near the foods we're eating right now. And how we're convincing people that they are is crazy. Look back at what a piece of fruit used to look like over 200 years ago. Just look at it. Next time you're on your phone, just Google in what did a piece of fruit look like 200 years ago, and you let me know if you have the same appeal, because I guarantee you won't. Look at a carrot. Okay, look at the way carrots were made years ago. You used to find carrots in the ground. When's the last time you seen a dirty carrot? You saw the roots out of a carrot. Remember years ago, but 30 years ago, you'd walk into a shop and you'd see all these carrots that just literally came out of the
Don't worry
ground.
about it, Mark. We'll just peel them for you and add calcium chloride.
Well, now it's in a packet that could have been in that packet for over 6 months to a year. A year.
Yeah.
So that those vegetables are still in that bag over a year, and you're willing to consume them.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you couldn't do that with meat.
No.
Meat goes off every what, 2 weeks, a week max.
I mean, that's debatable. Just add some salt. You got a little bit longer.
Yeah. But it's just mind-boggling how we're questioning the food, and we're absolutely convinced that it's the same. Everything's the same. It's just.
And I think that's a good place to end this week. I think we're I would say the message is you need to understand the game, and in whatever way, shape, or form you get there, you need to figure it out, because all things are not the same. And our modern day has manipulated you. They've lied to you. It's true. I mean, where I came to this awakening, I couldn't believe how we were so wrong about nutrition, because once you start to see it, you can't not see it. It's just, from the agrarian revolution to the Dust Bowl, to the goiter belt, to the rickets, pellagra, they made people fortify things. And if you look at it's a business, and they know what's going on, and all these things that get brought up, don't worry about it. We've got the solution. Tell you what, you just eat this fortified enriched flour, because you won't get pellagra. We'll fortify it with niacin. So don't worry about it. This is that's the way that they do things. So we react to a problem, and they have the solution right there for you. Most of the time made in a lab, which is frightening.
Yeah.
So be wise, people, be wise, and do the best you can. And if anybody needs any help, man, there's a shit ton of people out there, man. Find a coach that you resonate with. And I would urge you to follow 1 or 2 people. Don't get bombarded with all this nonsense about getting ping pong back and forth about this being good, that being bad. Whatever you resonate with, there's information out there. And what I found, especially with our community and the people that are even in the chats, they're very approachable, very, very knowledgeable. And, help is there. And I think this awareness, this movement is growing, because the people that get it. And the people that are coming on board, they're going to start to too. But it's going to get worse before it gets better, according to $184 billion GLP-1 industry, right? So great one today, buddy. Thanks for hanging out. Peter, we love you. We miss you. And I know you'll be back soon, but our thoughts are with you. And we'll hold the fort while you're gone, buddy. No worries. Mark, any final thoughts or last anything? And how do people find you?
No, I would just basically say the same thing what Tony said. If you are struggling with your weight, just please understand this. There is hope. There really is. Don't go down this route. Do more research. This can be achieved. I promise you, this can be achieved without going down this route. You just need to go out there and just listen to people. And all we're saying is that just give it a go. I mean, what have you got to lose? Give it at least 12 weeks. And at the end of the day, if you're getting the results that you've always wanted, you feel good doing it at the same time, you've got so much better energy, your relationship around food is a lot better, well then, what's the problem? What is the problem? This will literally change your life. I know it sounds crazy. Believe me, I'm sure Tony will say the same. Eating meat on its own, it sounds crazy. It really does. I couldn't get my head around this myself years ago. For me personally, the last thing that came out of my diet was vegetables. I was convinced. I was absolutely convinced I can't let these go. Same with fruits. But I couldn't believe the power this this diet had all over me. And I've said this many, many times. I'm doing this 6 years. I'm not struggling with my weight. I'm walking around with a six-pack. I'm eating a lot of food. I'm gonna have to talk about a reverse diet in our next conversation, but I'm eating a lot of food and I feel and look incredible. I have so much energy. And I would rather do this for the rest of my life instead of relying on medication. And that's what I'm saying to you guys is this. You've got two choices. Two choices. If you are at that situation in your life where, what do I do? Do I go down this route or do I listen to Mark? What have you got to lose? Just listen to me, try it, and let's see what happens. And if you guys want to know more about me, I'm on social media. My handle is called Fitness Beyond Time 01. I'm on TikTok, I'm on Instagram. And if you want to reach out to me, okay, if you want to have a talk with me, no problem whatsoever, just send me an email. My email is nsmark93@gmail.com.
Well said, brother. And also you can find Mark and Victoria Olsen on their podcast, Carnivore Evolution. Please check them out. And if you have a story, reach out to them and find out. And they're always keen to have these healing stories. And that's a message for everybody. Is like, if you or somebody you know needs to hear these kinds of information, I mean, it's not just about us. It's about, hearing from the horse's mouth. These people have done amazing, miraculous turnarounds with their health. And like Mark was saying, there's going to be a point in your life where, you may have to be desperate. And if you get ahead of this, the older you get, the more important this is. And that ties us into our next week with Dr. Anna Rosa. Know your visceral fat, everybody. This is if not the most important marker of your metabolic health. If your visceral fat is low, you're probably going to be a lot better off. If your visceral fat is high, you could be in some serious trouble. And visceral fat is around your heart, your liver, your kidney. Like, this is your danger fat. That actually goes away first because your body's not stupid. So all those people that are on plateaus, but you're feeling good, if you look into this visceral fat, we're going to get into a deeper dive next week, but it's something to think about for sure. I am going to be putting together some help for people coming off GLP-1s. This is in the works. I've been saying this for a few weeks, but I think there needs to be support. I'm going to have the guys helping me. A few doctors have stepped up, and then we're going to talk. We're going to start creating a community for help, to help people bring the awareness, to know what their body's actually doing when they've damaged it, so that there's some hope and there's ways to come together and help people that have been tragically manipulated into this stuff where they didn't really think about it. So, and you can find me at all social media platforms at Tony_food for thought, or reach out to me at TonyStewart.coaching.com. We will have the Keto is Key creators soon. Mark's lining it up. We're just trying to find a time to do it. That's coming down the pipes. Who do we got this week, Mark? We've got a conversation.
Yeah, we do. We have someone coming on. I think her name is Susan. I have her coming up now on Thursday. We have Anna next Sunday. And I also have Stephen Thomas coming up now, either this week or next week.
Cool. Well, we always appreciate Coach Stephen. He's a wealth of information especially on blood sugar and what goes on in the space. So everybody.
I also have Craig Emmerich coming up as well. Craig and Maria Emmerich. They're going on about apparently carnivores are getting diabetic or becoming diabetic. So that's going to be a very, very interesting conversation, believe me. He's well aware of my thoughts on this, as I've spoken to him on many, many times over messages. And we've had this conversation. I don't agree with him. I agree with him when it comes to getting in shape, and too much fat in the diet can become a problem. But when he starts talking about carnivores and diabetes, that's when I immediately switch off. So that's going to be an interesting debate.
No doubt, for sure. I mean, yeah, I can't wait. That's gonna be good, because my thoughts on it too. We're crazy things coming down the pipe, everybody. Thank you all for joining us in the chats. We appreciate each and every one of you. We're trying to get this thing out there, guys. So if anybody wants to help out, all you gotta do is hit the like button, subscribe to the channels, The Meat of the Matter, and Carnivore Evolution, Byron Funk at Carnivore Beats. And on behalf of Peter, go follow him on Low Carb Perspective and the Dutch Carnivore. He's doing good things. I know he's been pretty busy, but he brings his own classic charm to this whole endeavor. And we are here each and every Sunday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. in the UK and Ireland, 7 p.m. in Europe and the Netherlands. Thank you all for being here. We do appreciate you. We love you. And we're excited. It was a great talk. Thanks, Mark. And hopefully I didn't forget anybody. We'll talk very soon. See you next Sunday, everybody.